Don't come any closer. I swear I'll shoot.
You're bleeding, foreigner. Let me help you.
Help me. You don't know what I've done, what I am.
Then let me see the monster they made you before it kills us both.
Welcome to Mafia Love Story, where passion meets the power. If you crave steamy romance mixed with intense crime thriller drama, you're in the right place. Ready to get hooked on your next obsession? Don't forget to like this story, subscribe for the next chapter, and tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get dangerous.
In every city, there's a name people whisper, not speak. In Seoul, that name was Kang Jihoon, the youngest son of a dynasty built on blood and betrayal. They said he was cold, ruthless, untouchable. The kind of man who could command an army with a look and destroy a life with a single word. But even the coldest men bleed when the game turns against them. That night, the streets of Seoul burned red. A deal meant to unite two mafia syndicates turned into an ambush. Someone had betrayed him. Someone close. In his world, betrayal isn't punished with words. It's punished with death. His father's men, the same ones who once guarded him, now hunted him. He ran through the alleys, bleeding, betrayed, and alone. 3 bullets missed him. 1 didn't. He stumbled through the docks, dragging himself between stacks of containers, his blood marking his path like a trail of regret. He found one container half open, filled with the scent of oil and rust. It was labeled for Lagos. He didn't care where it went. He just needed to vanish. He climbed in, shut the door, and let the darkness swallow him. That was the night the Kang name died in Seoul. Days later, that same container arrived in a port far away, the noise of another world, the chaos of another life, Lagos. And fate decided to play its cruelest trick. The container was mistakenly dropped near a small private dock beside an art studio owned by a woman who believed danger had no place in her world. Her name was Shindara, a Yoruba artist whose paintings were known for their peace, their softness, their faith in color and light. When she saw the container door shift, she thought it was an accident. When she opened it, she found a man barely breathing. His shirt was torn, his body marked by blood and silence. She didn't know who he was, only that he was dying. And without thinking, she pulled him out and laid him on her studio floor. She pressed a cloth against his wound and whispered softly for him to hold on. He opened his eyes once, cold, distant eyes that had seen too much. And he said, "You don't even know who I am." She replied quietly, "I don't need to. You're bleeding in my studio." 2 strangers, bound by chance, unaware that both their lives had just changed forever. He thought he had escaped death, but death had only changed its disguise. Because somewhere in the distance, a message had already been sent. The Korean is alive, and he's not alone. And from that moment on, the hunter became the hunted again. And the woman who saved him had unknowingly stepped into his world of blood, lies, and consequence. He would remember her forever. Not as the woman who saved his life, but as the one who ruined it. The night sky over Lagos was heavy, bruised with rain clouds that refused to break. In the dim light of Shindara Art Gallery, everything felt still, too still for a city that normally pulsed like a living thing. The stranger she'd pulled from the shipping container hours earlier lay stretched across her worn leather couch, half conscious and covered in bandages. His breathing was uneven, his body taut even in sleep, like someone who trained never to rest fully, not even when dying. Shindara sat opposite him, hands clasped together, staring at the foreign man bleeding into her space. her silence thick with unanswered questions. He'd given no name, no explanation, just a glare that could cut through the dark when she found him, and now this, a dangerous stillness that unsettled her spirit. She thought of calling the police. For a brief moment, she even reached for her phone. But then she remembered the look in his eyes when he first came to, sharp, terrified, and alone. It wasn't the kind of fear criminals wore. It was older, heavier, the kind born from betrayal. So instead, she stayed. She cleaned the wounds again, using the last of her antiseptic. He didn't flinch, but she could see the pain roll through his body, tightening his jaw, making his breath shallow. "Don't move," she muttered, though she doubted he understood much English. But he did. He looked up, those dark, calculating eyes locking on hers. His voice was low and hoarse, roughened by accent and exhaustion. "You don't even know who I am." She met his gaze without trembling. "I don't need to. You're bleeding in my studio." Silence fell again, heavy and strange. A faint sound from the street drifted in, the call of a night hawker selling roasted corn, a distant car horn, the hum of Lagos refusing to sleep. He watched her quietly, as though memorizing her calm, her defiance, the rhythm of her movements. When he finally sat up, shirtless, she noticed the scars along his side. Not random ones. Clean, patterned, deliberate. Knife work. Years of it. "What's your name again?" she asked, softly this time. He didn't reply. Instead, he looked at her paintings. A large canvas dominated the room, a Yoruba woman standing over a talking drum, her eyes fierce, her hands steady. "You painted this?" "Yes." "Your people speak through art. You hide truth in colors." It wasn't said like admiration. It sounded like an accusation. Shindara frowned, unsure if he was mocking her or simply observing. "My people speak truth because the world prefers lies," she said, brushing dust from her palette table. That made him pause. For the first time, something almost like a smile ghosted across his lips, brief, unwilling, but it vanished quickly, like a secret he couldn't afford to show. Later, when he tried to stand, he nearly collapsed. Instinct made her catch him, her hands gripping his arm. His muscles tensed under her touch, the reflex of someone who trusted no one. "You should rest," she said. "I can't stay here." "Then bleed somewhere else." He stared at her, torn between pride and exhaustion. Finally, he sank back down, conceding. He was quiet for a long time, eyes fixed on the ceiling, until he finally muttered, "Seoul wasn't always blood. There was once peace, before power took everything." His English faltered slightly, but his meaning didn't. Shindara hesitated, her voice softening. "Power takes everywhere. You're not the only one who's lost something." That night, she told him about her father, a Yoruba man who believed in justice, who ran for local office and refused to take bribes, who disappeared one night after exposing corruption. They said it was an accident, but she knew the truth. Since then, she'd built her life from nothing. This gallery, her art, her solitude. She spoke, not expecting sympathy, but Jihoon, though he didn't say much, listened, really listened. There was something in his silence that felt like understanding. He knew what loss tasted like. When he finally looked at her again, his eyes softened just enough to show the man beneath the monster. Your father, he said, he died for truth. Yes. Then he died rich. In what sense? In honor, he replied simply. That's a kind of wealth I've never owned. The morning came without sunlight, only a dull gray light creeping through the blinds. Shindara moved quietly, making tea, her mind heavy with questions she couldn't voice. He was awake before her, sitting by the window, watching the city below. That's when she saw it. His jacket, carelessly dropped on the floor the night before. A corner of metal glinted from beneath it. Her breath hitched. She knelt, pulled the fabric back, and froze. A gun. Cold. Foreign. Too clean. Not something a traveler or tourist would carry. And then she saw the ink on his wrist, curling black tattoos that snaked up his arm, sharp symbols in Hangul, dragons biting their tails, letters burned into flesh. She knew what they meant. Everyone who'd ever watched a foreign crime documentary did. Mafia. Her throat tightened. You brought Soul's ghosts into my home, she said, voice trembling slightly. Your country gave me peace until you. The words hit her like an open slap, calm but cruel. She wanted him gone right then, but as she walked toward the door, the street outside flickered with a shadow. A black car, tinted glass, parked too long. Something twisted in her stomach. Are they yours? She asked. He didn't answer, just reached for his phone. She stood there, heart racing, trying to decide whether to scream, run, or call someone. Then his hand faltered. Pain flickered across his face. His body wasn't fully healed. He went into the bathroom, leaving his phone on the table. And that's when she made the mistake of her life. She picked it up. The screen lit up instantly. No password, just one new message. Her eyes moved over the words, and everything inside her went still. Her pulse thundered in her ears. Her hand shook. She stared at the name on the screen, her name, glowing in the faint morning light. The man she saved, the man she fed, the man sleeping under her roof. Was he sent for her? Or had she just stumbled into a war she didn't even know existed? From the bathroom came the sound of running water. Shindara backed away, her mind spinning, fear clawing at her throat. Her breath quickened, her voice a whisper to herself. Who are you really, Kang Jihoon? For a moment, she imagined her father's voice, calm and wise. Courage doesn't mean you're safe, my daughter. It means you face danger with open eyes. So she stood still, staring at the man's phone, her heart breaking with the knowledge that she might have saved the very person who was meant to destroy her. And somewhere outside, that same black car lingered, engine idling, camera lens peeking through the window. A message already sent across oceans. The Korean is alive, and he's not alone.
Maybe fate isn't done with Shindara yet. But when love returns wearing the face of your greatest pain, what would you do? Would you run? Or would you bleed again? Tell me in the comments below.